Jules here, and welcome back to Jules FM, a podcast about becoming the person you're meant to be, following the sparks that matter, and building a life that lights you up. Today's episode is a little different because I wanted to talk about a book I just read. It's called Black Box Thinking. This book is awesome, and it's really made me stop and think about the way we learn and teach. The premise of the book is comparing the aviation industry with the medical industry and how they deal with issues and accidents in particular. In aviation, every time there's a serious crash or incident, investigators gather all the information they can, like what happened, why it happened, and then they look at what can be changed to make sure that the same accident never happens again. And as a united industry, they adjust processes, software, training, technology, or even hardware, so the same mistake is never repeated. It's a system built on learning, transparency, and growth. Contrary to that, the medical industry is the opposite, and it's often the opposite occurs. When there's a death, mistake, or near miss, there's a tendency towards secrecy, defensiveness, or even blame. Errors are more likely to be hidden or minimized or treated as isolated events rather than learning opportunities. And because of that, the same mistakes can and often do happen again and again, sometimes for years. And in some ways, I get it. Who wants to go to a doctor or a surgeon who has made mistakes? It doesn't instill a lot of confidence in their work and ultimately could therefore affect their careers if they were transparent about their errors. But if they did adopt the same philosophy as the aviation industry, it might actually instill more confidence because common errors and mistakes would have been addressed and steps would have been taken to ensure that they weren't repeated. The core idea is simple, but probably a little confronting. Success happens when we treat failures as data and not a reflection of our worth. It's only when we create systems, like personally and professionally, where mistakes are expected, analysed, and learned from, that we unlock real improvement. And it made me think about, where am I hiding my incompetencies and errors that I make in order to appear like I got it all sorted and I know what I'm doing, rather than actually, this is an area I still need to learn or I can still grow. As I'm getting older, I am getting better at acknowledging my strengths and weaknesses, but I know I still feel a little like embarrassment or shame when I make a largish mistake. And I know I have this terrible sense of anxiousness and fear. And although I'm not one to necessarily blame others, I really would try and find excuses for myself as to why it may have happened. And this feels really common. Like, I feel like when I look around with people I work with or people I know, it feels a little bit like human nature to deflect where we can. And it's really refreshing because I do have a few friends in this boat as well. And hopefully I'm becoming more and more one of these, that when something goes wrong, you accept it. You accept that, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I've made a mistake, whatever it may be, and go about fixing it if need be or working on getting better at that area. This thinking, though, also reminds me that it's a really good opportunity to look at my processes and how I got there, and then what I can do differently to improve the outcome for next time. I remember hearing once that the fastest way to improve is to make mistakes. So to be open to these happening, because the sooner they do, the faster you'll progress, which is such an interesting way to think of it, because I used to think you want to avoid mistakes, but clearly that doesn't help us grow. As a teacher, I would really also love to restructure my classes more to allow for the kids to make mistakes in their learning processes and then reflect on how to work out and course correct. At the moment, there really is, and I can't speak for all schools, but generally with the curriculum, and I look at the way we're set up and structured, it's all about imparting learning on them. But that's very much teacher directed. there seems to be little or no opportunity for that to happen, for that growth via making mistakes to happen for kids. And the issue with this is kids, and as I said before, so many adults, and I'm included, hopefully changing, but we get less and less comfortable with being wrong or making mistakes because it doesn't happen, or we're prevented from learning that way. And therefore get more precious about being right. And that in turn makes us less creative because we're less likely to venture into unknown territories for fear of being wrong. This book really challenged the way I view ability, intelligence, and performance. And instead of seeing mistakes as something to avoid, I'm really going to try and create my black box mindset by, when things do go wrong, tracking those, looking at it without ego, and then adjusting and trying again. And not only that, welcome the mistakes. Actually be open to going, honestly, sometimes it's kind of like you just want to hide because you just go, I can't believe I just sent that out, or I just said that, or whatever it may be. But really trying to embrace that as a learning opportunity rather than me being fallible or not good enough. So for teaching, learning, creativity, leadership, and you know what? Just being human. It is such a refreshing and practical perspective. And I say, bring on the next mistake. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget, there you go, there's one there. Don't forget to hit follow or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform. And until next time.